It's the Fellowship of the Geek Show, a weekly podcast about comics, the comic book industry, and other geek pop culture. Music courtesy of Manny the Martyr. And now, on with the show!
Hey there, everybody. It's the Fellowship of Geeks podcast. My name is Thomas Chick, and joining me for this episode is Mike Marlowe.
Hey, gang.
Les Webster.
Hello.
And Liz Newman.
Hello, everybody.
How are you guys doing?
Scrum-diddly-icious.
Super.
Everlasting Godstars.
Super's better than great.
I guess.
Super's also very fitting given what happened this past weekend. But anyway.
Amazing, you would say. Anyway, I hope everybody out there is doing okay. So what's been going on in your corner of the galaxy?
Well, yeah, this was a busy weekend, so I didn't get a chance to do a whole lot. I didn't get to do much reading at all. But I did finally get back to something I was doing a few months ago, which is more movie-related. I finally watched a movie called It Came from Another World. Les.
Yes.
And I liked it. It's another Christopher Mim movie, and so there's a certain flavor there that I can appreciate. There's a lot of tongue in cheek, and this is actually one of his early ones. So it's actually, I could see it still developing. One of his major characters back in the early days, Professor Jackson, is interesting. He's an interesting character, and the premise is the beginning of an alien invasion. And given that these things are like no or even possibly negative budget movies, how they managed to pull that off was pretty fun. So it's definitely a check for that one. It's a cool. You kind of got to be into the weird old sci-fi movies, but they're a lot of fun. It's clearly a loving tribute to those movies.
Good call.
Mm-hmm.
And now 15 minutes with Liz.
Wow.
I'm gonna need more than 15 minutes tonight.
Okay.
Guys.
All right.
Oh, Lord. She's going to make up for the last couple of weeks when she didn't talk much.
Here, I told you I'd be more interesting this week.
45 minutes with Liz.
I did get some reading done. Yay. I forgot how enjoyable it was just to sit down and veg and read. But one of them, I think, was sent to us as a review that Nobody's in Control. If you're like into real head trippy conspiracy theories, kind of out there kind of stuff, that's really the comic book to read. There was a lot of times I had to go back and reread because it was like, wait a minute, what did he say they did? So, like I said, it's kind of interesting because they were talking about like way back when, like light bulbs and stuff, that I think it was the Russians didn't want a light bulb to last for 100 years. So they like forced people to make them more replaceable. So, you make more money off 10 one-year bulbs instead of 100, So it kind of goes into that. And like I said, you kind of have to follow the rabbit down the hole. So, and they leave it in a place where it's kind of interesting. And I can honestly tell you that by the end of the first issue, if it hasn't grabbed your attention, it's not going to. So like I said, I did get some of that done. I caught up on a lot of my movies on Netflix. But I started a series which I thought I don't know why I didn't. I've never seen it before. It's called Good Girls. And one of them, she's a housewife, and it's her sister and her best friend. Well, they all kind of have like different financial problems going on. So they decide the quick and easy way, let's just go rob a grocery store. Simple enough. They get the money. They only were going to go for like 30 grand, but instead they wound up with like $500,000 because they find out that a gang launders money through the grocery store. So it's been pretty interesting on that one. So if you haven't seen that one yet, like I said, it's pretty cool. It's pretty funny and drama, you know. But then I took the plunge and I got my A-list for AMC. Now, not only do you get to watch 3 movies a week, but as packed as the movie theater is, they have a special line for you. So I was like second in line to buy popcorn and my drinks and stuff when people are probably waiting 20, 30 minutes for theirs. So if you're ever thinking about it, just that alone is worth the money every month, not to stand in that line. But if you go more than once, you've pretty much paid for your membership. Because what tickets are about $16 nowadays for IMAX, yeah, or more. And I think it's $21 a month. So and not only that, they upgrade your drink and your popcorn for free. So, woohoo!
Super bladder buster.
Yes, big time. Well, not if you get a frozen Coke. So.
Ooh, super brain freeze buster.
Yep. And AMC, if you're listening, I just plugged you, so send me my check.
Yeah, we'd be down for a sponsorship on that. Absolutely.
Right. Hello.
Yeah. When she says me, she meant we.
She meant all of us. Yeah.
All of us.
We are
yes.
totally riding that train. Hell yeah.
We are a team. So, yeah, like I said, if you're thinking about it, it is a good deal. If if you break it all down, you do wind up saving money on your first week if you use it like they want you to, So.
Does sound interesting.
Mhm. I said not bad. And you get to reserve your movie ahead of time, so you don't have a ticket line. Scan your phone, you're good to go. Well, and your ID. I almost messed up and just brought my phone with me. But you have to have your ID to make sure,
You're you.
You're you.
You're not allowed to share.
Yep. Which they ought to be like Six Flags and like one day a month you can bring a buddy. So.
I think they're well aware that would not work in their favor.
Yeah, not it. Well, I don't understand how they're making money this way. And you think about it, an average ticket's about $16. It's $21 a month that they let you see 3 movies a week times 4. That's
a lot of people.
12 maybe.
A lot of people don't take full advantage of it. That's how.
Yeah.
Plus the fact that theaters make their money off the concessions, not really the tickets.
Yeah. True. Like that was a cool deal too, because if you buy a medium, it has to be a medium. They automatically upgrade you to a large. And if you have a large,
right? But what do they charge you
free
for a
refills.
medium?
Yeah.
Is it $7 or something?
Well, for 2 frozen Cokes and a large popcorn, it was $21.
Yep.
So.
Do you know how much it costs for the cup? For the Coke?
Right. True. Well, I had frozen Coke.
It's almost nothing. Yeah, well, they're leasing that machine, so believe me, they're still making plenty of money off of it.
That's
right.
True. Well, and I've noticed now they've put their Coke machines over there where you can make your own drink kind of thing, which is great because it saves time. But,
It saves time. No, it saves them having to pay some poor schmuck minimum wage to stand back there and draw Cokes. That's what it saves.
Yeah.
There you go.
True. And like I said, it did kind of suck for the other people because you go and stand in line for 20 minutes to get your drink and popcorn, then you got to go stand in another line.
To actually fill up your drink. Yeah, you're doing it. You're standing in line for a cup and popcorn.
Yeah, twice.
Then you got to go fill the cup.
But see, the frozen Coke they do for you, so.
Well, there you go. See, you're beating the system already.
All right. And
I
had a
heard you
short-
were thumbing your nose at those people.
I tried not to even look. You didn't want to make eye contact with anybody who was standing.
Well, it's okay. You got the dark enough sunglasses. They can't see you anyway. Even though you're wearing the mink coat and all that, you know.
Right. And then Brandon, we're gonna go see the Avengers Endgame, right? He's in a freaking Flash t-shirt. It's like, are you kidding me? Are you trying to get our ass kicked here?
Good for him.
I blended in. I had my Deadpool wallet and
Brandon is my hero.
You know, that's funny, hero. You know, Liz, I think I'm not going over the line when I say that. Honestly, this whole Marvel versus DC thing, that's all you. You're the only one left that still believes that.
I don't know. Talk to Juan. He almost didn't let Brandon in his car with it on.
Oh, wow.
Okay, you and Juan. That's it. Everybody else is fine with both. Everybody else in the world.
You know, I went with neutral colors, capris. I was good. You know, of course, Juan was decked out, all Avengers. You know, like I said, and then we got Brandon with us. Which, you know, I have to say, I love that I raised a child who marches to his own little drummer. Hell, he is his own little drummer. So, go for him.
It's okay. It's a Flash t-shirt. He can outrun him.
True.
There you go.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
As long as you enjoyed the movie.
I did. And, you know, I've been trying not to say too much. Yeah, you guys were like, what about before the show? I don't want to spoil anything, but I personally, I liked Infinity Wars better. I think, you know, I can hear all the booing in my head right now. I think the reason being is because with that shock element of half the world disappearing was kind of
Spoiler.
like, oh my God. Well,
No, I'm just kidding.
hopefully, I was going to say, hopefully they've seen that one, you know. But it was kind of a, you know, superhero movies have a theme. You see the good guy, you see the conflict, they get their butt kicked, but then they come back and fight another fight and win another day. You know, that's always been the superheroes. The good guys always win. So when Marvel killed half their guys and the bad guy won, it was kind of like, what the hell? What dimension am I in? You know, and
You're in a galaxy far, far away.
totally far away. I mean,
You're in
so
another dimension. A dimension
kinda
not
like
only of sight and... Never mind.
doo-doo-doo-doo.
You know what? I'm glad you said something, because I'm pulling out the soapbox here for a second.
Oh, boy.
All right. And here is 20 Minutes with Thomas.
Hopefully it won't take that long, but no promises. The entire week, you have don't spoil Endgame. I mean, it was everywhere on social media, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's every time you turn around, that's all you saw. Whether your friends posted it or sites that you followed, whether it's on Twitter, Facebook,
Producers.
Instagram, whatever, everywhere. So the movie comes out. People start seeing the movie. And then all weekend long, everybody starts quoting this one line out of the movie, which I'm going, of course, there's no reference to it. It's just this one line.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm seeing it over and over and over again going, what the hell does this mean? Because everybody's saying it. So, of course, you have to Google to find out what the hell it is. And, hey, it's a spoiler.
It's
so,
big.
you know, fuck
If
you.
it's the line I think it was a big spoiler.
I'm
Did it
like,
have anything to do with a number?
It had something to do with the number, yes.
Yep.
And I'm like, you
Spoiler.
assholes. These people who say, don't spoil the movie for me, turns around and does a nod and wink and say, hey, here's a line that you're not going to understand until you actually see the movie.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thanks a lot.
Well, and people even had T-shirts with that on there. I won't go into the images because the images were like straight from the movie screens, you know. And it's kind of like, you know, someone might look at it and go, oh, that's pretty cool, but it's big time spoiler. There's like 3 of them on this T-shirt, you know.
Yeah. I hadn't seen the shirt, but I can imagine. But it's just like, oh my God, what the hell?
Mm-hmm.
And this is not the first time this happens. This happens with a lot of these type of movies. You know, you go, oh, don't spoil the movie for me, or don't spoil the episode for me. And as soon as that movie or episode's gone over with, and a percentage of people have seen it, they're quoting lines or making references to that. And of course, the general public or the rest of us are going, what?
Yep. Tonight we were under tornado warnings, right? So I opened, you know, Fox 4 and was reading the comments. There's spoilers in the comments. I mean, people are there scared for their lives, and people are spoiling in-game in the comments. It's like, oh my God, people are you kidding me?
Captive audience.
Game of Thrones.
It was bad on Twitch. I mean, some of the channels actually put their chat rooms into sub-only modes. That way people can't immediately follow the channel and then turn around and go, spoiler, and then leave.
Yeah. And
even for the subscribers, some of them, they put a little notice. If you spoil Avengers Endgame or Game of Thrones, it is a ban. And some of them were doing a permanent ban. Even if you're a subscriber. So even if you've paid this person to support them, they will ban you because you turn around and spoil the movie or an episode.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like,
it's a dick thing to do.
It is. It is.
And that's why, like last night when me and you were talking, it was like, have you seen it? Because I didn't want to say anything because there's a lot of moments in that film. I kind of looked at this as this was kind of Marvel's We Love You. You know, and you don't want to spoil that. Yes, it is. And there were so many touching things in there that wouldn't necessarily spoil the movie, but it would spoil the moment that they were giving to you as a fan. So I don't know why they do that, you know.
These are the same people that walked out of some of the Star Wars movies and said, Darth Vader is Luke's father.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As you're standing in line, and you're going, wait a minute, what?
Well, I had heard that somebody walked out of this one and said, rest in peace in someone's name, and there was like 5 people in line who kicked his ass.
I've heard similar stories, yes.
And it's like, I mean, I don't condone violence, but come on. Why would you do that?
I think I've told the story on the podcast before. A mutual friend of Les and mine, his name is Jeff. Back when Empire Strikes Back came out in 1980, he was standing in line to see the film with hundreds of other people, and someone comes out from seeing the film and blurts it out. Darth Vader's Luke's father. And he said there was about 3 or 4 people. You're talking about people who stand in line. And this was 1980 in North Texas.
Like camped out for tickets.
And this is May 1980. And for those who...
The hottest
summer on record for North Texas. People were standing in line to see this movie until this idiot blurted out the spoiler, and they got out of line to kick the shit out of him.
Mm-hmm. I said it is a pretty dick thing to do, especially now social media. You almost kind of ask for it, you know.
Because that's the
But
mentality. I mean, it's
yeah,
just about social media. All of a sudden, it brings out the dick out of people.
yeah.
It's
But if
not
you're
so much.
standing in line and you've bought a ticket, and now some idiot who got a ticket before me is going to tell me what happened, I probably lose my cool too. You know? Big time.
What are you gonna say, Mike?
I was going to defend social media a little bit. It's not so much that the problem is that it has just become commonplace. I mean, people are just dicks.
Overshares.
It's I mean, yeah, exactly. They for whatever reason they talk too much.
Yeah.
So it's more that it's more that we've become used to it than that it's become accepted. It's just we just know it's going to happen. We don't necessarily like it, but we know it's going to happen.
I'll have to look at the extension, but I have an extension on my browser that I use for The Walking Dead, and I used it for Endgame, but it totally blocks out anything that's even talking about that. And, you know, for me, I'd rather block you than, you know, but I think people realize now this is a problem, and they've come around ways to work around it. I mean, I even have certain people's names in there that I don't even want to see anymore.
But you mentioned that this made well, I don't know if it made national news on television, but it certainly did on the internet. I can't remember his name, the running back for the Bills. He went on Twitter and he posted the spoiler of Endgame. And the thing is he misspelled the name, so you talk about blocking stuff. It got around those blocks. It would have got, you know, if you block characters'
they were
names,
the angers.
It would, if you block characters' names, then obviously you won't see that. But he misspelled it, whether it was intentionally or not, and he did it twice.
Man.
And he's gotten so much hell for it.
But,
and I'm like, yeah, that's a dick thing to do, man. I'm sorry you're upset that happened, but you know what? You just made things worse for yourself.
Yeah. And, you know, people laugh and think, oh, Nerd Rage is so funny and everything else. But, okay, like in that guy's case, what if it was a football game he was watching? And then all of a sudden I said, hey, you know, here's the score of this game. You know, it doesn't mean crap to me, but I've just spoiled this game for him.
Mm-hmm.
What's the point in watching it when I already know who's going to win? And, you know, so they don't take it in that context. It was like, oh, it's just a movie. Well,
see, and that's
just a movie. This is 10 years of my life. You know, not consumed with, but this has been a part of my life for 10 years. I watched these movies, I watched the build-up, and I really enjoyed sitting there and seeing the end, you know, without it being spoiled, kind of the same way you would a football game.
Yeah, and it's easy to do that with sporting events these days, too, because with DVRs and such, you can start recording something and then just wait for like 45 minutes or an hour and then go start watching it so you can buzz through the commercials and not have to watch those.
Yeah.
But you're taking a chance on whether you're going to actually catch up to the end of the game when it's happening live. And so yeah.
Well, like TV shows, you've got the East Coast and the West Coast. Mm-hmm. You know, we see things an hour before they do, you know, and it's kind of... And I think the worst thing was when AMC with Walking Dead, was before the episode even played. We'd been looking for Beth for almost the whole season. They finally find her, and the picture that they use is Daryl carrying her dead body out of a burning building. And it's kind of like, wait, what? We hadn't even seen the episode yet, and we already know she's going to die, and it's going to be, Daryl's going to find her. I mean, it was bad. It was like, this is your own show that you've spoiled, you know?
Well, and I've seen this happen. Yeah. I mean, we praise Marvel. I'm going to turn around and condemn them, especially their social media. When you have a new episode of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., And we're doing live tweets. Well, you're doing it for the East Coast timeline, or
Yeah.
East Coast time. Now, if I'm on the West Coast and I happen to get on Twitter, and all of a sudden I'm seeing a tweet from something that's going on in an episode, I'm going, what the hell? And of course, they'll turn around and do it in 2-3 hours when it's now live on the West Coast. But I've caught something.
Yep.
And I've complained before about some of these genre websites who immediately post hey, here's a review of this episode that just ended 5 seconds ago, or here's an in-depth analysis of what just happened in this episode. I'm like, guys, it just ended on the East Coast.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It doesn't come on for 2 more hours on the West Coast.
Yep.
But they're already going to be spoiled unless you put spoilers in there, which are put in parentheses spoilers and going. But still, it defeats the purpose because it's already out there.
And just to state for the record, pretty much all of the podcasts we associate with through various methods and means do put the spoiler thing in there. They do say whether they're spoiling or not. So
Yeah. Well, since we've brought spoilers up, what is the what's the word I'm looking for? The polite time to wait before you start talking about a movie?
Well, the way this show goes, it's usually about 2 or 3 years.
So I really did spoil Infinity Wars.
hell, I think we spoiled The Matrix a couple of weeks ago. So it's
Yeah. But like on social media,
that's a legit question because you obviously don't want to do it. Well, I mean, as long as you have the advisory that hey, we're about to spoil this, that way people can already know that hey, maybe I need to avoid this, that kind of thing. But it seems awful. It seems awful quick if you're talking about a movie for something to come out within the first 12 to 24 hours, saying, okay, well, here's all the Easter eggs. Here's some of the stuff you might have missed. Here's the implications of what was been done, or anything, that kind of stuff. The first 24 hours seems a little rushed to me.
it does.
yeah. You'd think
Now,
you'd want to give it at least
TV
a
show,
week.
I give it a day. Yeah, I could see a week on a movie. Because, like, in games, like I said, we reserved our tickets on Friday and we couldn't get anything till Monday. So,
And if you looked at social media, that's all you saw in the last 2 or 3 days is every kind of analysis of the film and that kind of stuff. And you're just going, oh my God.
yeah.
You can't get away from it unless, like you said, you do a
You
block.
block it. Yeah. But TV shows, like I said, I wait a day. You've got a day. You DVR'd it, watch it the next day. After that, it's fair game,
Well, I mean, if you can, and if you can't, then that's unfortunate. But yeah, I mean, you can't.
But you can't blame others.
Yeah.
Well,
Like-
especially when
like
there's a new
Walking
episode
Dead.
that's going to come out in a week. So, I mean, people need to, if you're keeping up, then you're keeping up. And if you're not, then you're kind of outside the spoiler range.
Yeah. Like when they killed Gwen. I waited a day.
Wait, they killed
until it was
Gwen?
like,
What?
Oh my God!
What?
Like 3 years ago in the comics and like 2 years ago on the show. But
Wait, there's a comic?
spoiler. But yeah, it was just something like that. Now I knew it was coming. I read the comic. I kind of know what's going on. But for other people, it was just, I could see rushing to social media and going, oh my God, because that was an important character to them. Me, you don't get too attached because he loses his eye. He becomes Popeye. So, but but people were getting upset over that even a couple of days later. And it's kind of like, no, wait a minute. This was season, what do they call that when you come back from the middle of the season?
Break.
Yeah, the season premiere break, you know.
Yeah, mid-season premiere. Yeah.
Yep. So it was kind of like, people were going to be talking about it, and most of the places that was being talked about are websites that specialize in that kind of thing. So why are you on here? If you haven't watched the episode yet, why do you look? And then get upset because people are talking about a major moment that happened in the TV show,
See, this is also one of the things that cracks me up about the whole Game of Thrones thing. They were books, right?
Yeah.
Where everybody knows that, right?
You would think.
I mean, clearly not. But there's a whole series of books that those came from.
Yeah.
I mean, admittedly, kind of in the same vein as Walking Dead, that not everything's exactly the same. But how spoilery can you be when the book came out last year,
Well, two, you have to kind of go, what kind of fan are you if you haven't, I'm not going to down anybody.
Yeah, you are.
But,
yeah, you are. That's exactly what you're doing.
Okay. I'm a literary snub.
Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of because believe me, there are a shitload more people who are going to see Avengers Endgame than read the comics.
That's true.
A shitload.
Well, including me. I mean,
right.
Honestly,
So
yeah,
I
could see that.
I'm not going to go that way, but still, if you want
for
to bitch
me,
about
with Walking
spoilers,
Dead,
read the book.
Yeah.
Know what's going on before you start watching the show. That's not hard.
See, and I'm curious if that's why Kirkman handled his TV series the way he has. He's kind of...
That's exactly the way. He didn't want to get... He was... Because I've read where he said he didn't want to give either one of the audiences a leg up on the other. So if you're reading the comics, he didn't want people to be watching the show and go, "Oh, I know what's coming up, so
yeah,
I'm ready," and vice versa.
Yeah, because like I said with
sense.
I still cried, but it wasn't, I cried anything.
You always cry. Hell,
I always cry.
You cry every week at the end when we're done recording every week anyway.
When I have to say goodbye.
I cried like, thank God it's over.
Yeah, no kidding.
She finally shut up.
I can finally go to the bathroom again. Wait, too soon? For the joke, not for the bathroom.
Right. Yeah. I think, like I said, a couple of weeks, if you haven't seen the movie, you don't really have a right to be upset about seeing the spoiler, TV show, it's a little more rush timeline.
Yeah. By design.
Yeah.
So, Les.
That was 45 minutes with Les.
Pretty much.
Well, let's see. I just got out of the bathroom. This weekend, I was reading a couple of the Silver Age books from DC, Green Lantern and Doom Patrol. And looking back at the early stuff, it was a lot of fun to reread. Unfortunately, Doom Patrol is going to make me wait till the next collection. I don't know that it's out yet, but I do want it because it is in the next collection that they introduce Beast Boy as a member of the Doom Patrol. So I'm kind of edging toward that.
Oh.
And it's a good read. It's a good, solid read. The Doom Patrol gives you a little mystery here and there. Green Lantern gives you outer space adventures. And I get to meet a lot of the significant villains in these two. So I've enjoyed this stuff.
That's cool.
I believe the second volume comes out this summer, if I'm not mistaken. So you won't have to wait too long.
That sounds good.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I have been adding to my trade pile, as Mike likes to call it. And this kind of, it's funny because it kind of went nostalgic here, although not nostalgic like what Wes was just talking about, but just in terms of the Fellowship, it reminds me of some of the earlier days. And Mike might remember the name, remember this title, Deathmatch, from Boom Studios. Does that sound familiar?
It does ring. It does ring a bell, a small bell in the back of my head.
Written by
I have
Paul,
nothing to say.
Leaving that alone.
written by Paul Jenkins and art by Carlos Mango. This is a story about a group of superheroes who were kidnapped and forced to fight to the death against each other. It was one-on-one combat. And you're trying to figure out who is responsible for kidnapping all these heroes. Now, this is kind of, am I clearing things up a little bit for you, Mikey?
Yeah, I vaguely remember it.
This came out
like Secret Wars that we just finished.
A little bit, yeah.
This came out in 2014, and I had just come across these. It's like 3 volumes, and I was like, "Oh, I got to get these," because I hadn't read them in such a long time. And it just kind of reminded me of the early days of us doing reviews, and Boom was one of the first publishers we had access to their review material. So.
Aww.
Yeah.
Wow.
Now he feels bad for not remembering.
I remember. Gosh.
Well, I mean, like I said, it was 2014. So it's been 5 years. So.
A couple of naps since then, you know.
He's read a couple other books since then.
Just a few, yeah.
Just a few.
Well, I guess we need to get on to our topic for this week, but I do want to take a moment to remind everybody of our meet and gab that's coming up May 11th. For you who live in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, this is our monthly gathering. Have it at Wing City once again. It's located at 1456 Beltline Road, Suite 120 in Garland, and zip 75044 at 7 p.m. And once again, it's May 11th. If you'd like to come meet us and just hang out for a few hours and talk about anything that's going on in the geek universe, whether it's comics, movies, TVs, whatever, we would love to have you. It's always a good time, and hope to see you there. Like I said, check out the website, www.thefellowshipofthegeeks.net, or go to our Facebook page, and we have a Facebook event already set up. So if you're following us there, just go ahead and click on whether you're interested or you're going. And if you're not following us, go ahead and follow us as well. So, love to see you there. Alrighty, for this week, we kind of teased it a little bit, but we're going to take this week to kind of preview the summer movie lineup. And, of course, we've already talked about Avengers Endgame a little bit, so no need to go any further than that, right? It's out, so go see it.
Yep.
If you want to
I
go see
was
it.
going to talk about that.
Really?
Never mind.
So let's go ahead and start with May. What movies kind of catch your attention for the month of May?
Pokemon. That's what I'm most excited about.
Why?
Why? Ryan Reynolds.
I suspected that was why.
I was just saying, do I have to say much more?
No, not really.
And Pikachu.
Gesundheit.
They're the cutest little things you can put and cram them together. So, No, and I have to admit, I have to throw in the nostalgia. My kids grew up on Pokemon. I mean, I've probably thrown away thousands of dollars worth of cards. And I remember when there was only 50 Pokemon. Gotta catch them all. So this was kind of a, touchback where I can go watch this with the kids. But I think the way they've handled this, it's a lot better than the other live action stuff that I've seen come out. So I'm hoping with his humor, this one will be really cool. And this will be the third week, I think, after Endgame comes out. Do you think it'll be overtaken by Pokemon?
No.
No.
No. We can dream.
Yeah, good luck to you, but no.
Yeah. Yeah. Good luck with all that.
Mhm.
It's like the other movie coming out, Long Shot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure Les will be in line for that one.
Yay, Seth Rogen.
Yep. No, the one I figured Les was waiting for was Extremely Wicked, Shockingly Evil, and Vile. Because it's got his boy Zac Efron in it.
Ah.
That looked interesting.
It kind of does. I mean, I joke about the Zac Efron thing, but then again, there have been other Ted Bundy movies that I haven't really paid much attention to, so I don't know. It still might be interesting.
I'm curious to see that one. I watched. I'm not that I'm a serial killer, but I've always kind of been fascinated by that. Kind of like what makes them tick like that.
I think we've got our show title here, by the way.
Yeah, I think so. Yes, I concur.
But Ted Bundy was one of those that he was dangerous because he was charming. And a lot of people were like, why are they going to get this good-looking guy to play the serial killer when he was, disgusting and vile? And it's kind of like, yes, but that's what Ted Bundy was. He was this handsome man that I, being a female, probably wouldn't feel alarmed being around him, which looks shouldn't matter, but honestly, sometimes they do, You see a guy who's kind of well put together and, they said he was polite and he kind of talks soft. That's not threatening to me. So I would have been found in his basement.
Could be.
So, But yeah, that one does look. But talking to the family of some of the victims, they're like, no, I'm glad they did it this way because they need to portray him like he was, People need to understand that these just weren't stupid girls. There was a reason why he, got so many victims. So that one should be pretty interesting. And if he busts out singing in the middle of it, I'm gonna die. I'm just gonna die.
Ted Bundy the musical? That'd be hilarious.
So,
Like watching an episode of Buffy.
How about you, Mikey?
I brought that one up. What are you talking about?
Okay.
I think the next interesting one is, it's hard not to call out John Wick 3. That's in May.
yeah.
Yeah.
And his trailer had a dog in it.
Of course it did. It's a John Wick movie. Yeah, no, the one that got me was the callback to The Matrix. But anyway. To hear him say that line again was, even in a trailer, even just in a TV spot, it's like, ah.
What? Whoa.
No, that's not a callback to The Matrix. That's a callback to Bill and Ted. No, the guns. Lots of guns.
I was joking.
Yeah. They say it will include horses, dogs, cats, a raven, a bunch of pigeons, a motorcycle chase, a car chase, Halle Berry, Lawrence Fishburne, Ian McShane, and Lawrence Reddick, Shia
Oh my.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you said Halle Berry, and you had me right there. I saw the first look on HBO the other day, and it was fascinating because they were comparing all three movies. It just looks better and better each time something comes up. So, yeah, I was going to pitch that one too.
Okay. One of the ones I'm kind of interested in is Rocket Man.
Yeah, I saw that. I don't know if I'm interested in it, but I saw it.
About Elton John.
Yep.
I'm ready for that one too.
Could be interesting.
I hope so. I mean, the reason I say I'm not really all that curious is because I'm not a big fan of biopics.
Right.
I just don't find them entertaining usually. That said, I'm sure it's a very interesting story.
That same weekend is the opening of Godzilla, King of the Monsters,
Mm-hmm.
which puts Godzilla against Mothra, Rodan, and King Ghidorah. So,
But no camera?
No,
Not this time.
no flying turtle.
Maybe the
No.
next one.
Mm. Also, that same week. Go ahead.
I was going to say, because maybe the next one, because I believe there's already one on the schedule for 2020.
Probably. Also, that same weekend is Ma. Have y'all seen anything about this one?
I saw the TV spot for it. That
It
looks interesting.
Yeah.
Is
Especially
this
with,
a comedy?
oh God, no.
Lord,
oh,
no.
God, no.
No. This is not a comedy.
This stars Octavia Spencer, and she's a middle-aged woman who basically becomes friends with a bunch of teenagers, and they come to her house to party and this, that, and the other. And then things start going south.
Things get weird.
And yes, it is listed as a thriller psychological horror. So no, it's not a comedy.
Okay.
I saw the trailer for this and I was like, whoa, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Could be interesting for sure.
Especially with it being Octavia Spencer.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yep, she's pretty dang good.
yep, I like her a lot. Well, we got the live action Aladdin.
Do we have to talk about that?
No, not really.
I did not know Guy Ritchie directed it, but I don't know that makes me want to see it either.
Well, it's just the latest in the long line of Disney animated films that are being turned into live action for some purpose other than, hey, we know it will know and sell, so let's do it.
Yeah. One that I'm curious about, because I literally had not heard of it until I saw it on this list, was Brightburn.
Oh, yeah. What's being basically called What Happens If Superman Came to Earth and Actually Turned Evil. Yes.
Mm-hmm. I would love to know where this came from.
Well, I believe... Let me check here real quick. Because I made a comment on social media saying, we're getting this. I was like, why couldn't we get Irredeemable? Because it's a similar premise.
Well, maybe it's a ripoff. Who knows?
Screenplay by Brian Gunn and Mark Gunn, and produced by James Gunn.
Yes, brother. I think a brother and a cousin.
Yeah. So it does look interesting.
Yep. What little I've seen of it so far looks interesting.
I haven't seen a lot other than just the trailer, but I'm sure that's about to change here very rapidly.
Yeah, I need to go find the trailer for that. I suppose it wouldn't be me if it didn't get mentioned, but the Tolkien biopic is coming out in May as well. Again, not too keen on biopics, but I guess if I was going to watch one, that would probably be a good one to start with.
And another one that's actually coming out here real quick, I hadn't heard anything about it until all of a sudden I saw sponsored tweets for it, called El Chicano. And what little I have learned, people are basically going, well, this is a Hispanic Batman. I'm going, already had one of those. It wasn't Zorro, but okay.
Didn't Zorro come first?
Yes.
Right. Just saying.
But I did check out the trailer. It kind of looks interesting. We'll see how it goes. It's definitely a vigilante hero in L.A. So we'll just see.
Yep.
Any other films in May that kind of catches your attention?
Not here.
That's all I got.
Okay, then we are moving on to June. So what catches your eye for June?
Dark Phoenix, the new X-Men movie.
The last X-Men movie for 20th Century Fox. Yep.
And the previews I've seen are kind of interesting. Not being one knowing the Dark Phoenix story, but knowing of it, this may be a point to enjoy the new versions of a lot of the X-Men.
The preview of that one looked really, really good.
Okay. I'm interested in seeing the Men in Black International.
See.
I'm
gonna have to wait on that one until I hear something good, just because we've been burned on Men in Black movies. Men in Black 2 was terrible.
I totally agree.
The third one was okay, but a little flimsy on story. So I don't know. I have high hopes for it, but I'm gonna have to hear something good before I plop down any money on that.
What are you talking about? You don't go see movies.
Don't get technical with me, damn it.
If he was going to, he wanted that one.
But see, I'm just the opposite, Mike. I enjoyed 2 and thought 3 was a waste of time.
I couldn't get over the toilet bowl thing. I just couldn't. There wasn't enough good stuff in there to get me over the toilet bowl thing.
Okay.
To me, the second one felt like a 30-minute sitcom.
Stretched out to 95 minutes.
Yes.
It was more of a setup for the third one.
Yeah, I didn't really see it that way. But
It's, to me, it was somewhat like Back to the Future 2 was nothing more than a setup for the third one.
I've only seen the first one.
that you're probably smart.
Yeah.
The first one is a really cool movie. I really like the first one, which is probably why I was so disappointed with the second one. But
and it will put Thor and Valkyrie together, so it might be good.
Again.
Again, yeah.
With sunglasses this time.
Mm-hmm. And a blinky thing.
And a flashy thing. Yep.
Okay.
Now this is kind of weird. On the same day, Toy Story 4 and Child's Play comes out.
Isn't that
June
awesome?
21st.
I love it. Not only that, but I don't know if I retweeted a poster for Child's Play, which
yeah.
Did you see that?
Yeah, I didn't see your tweet, but I think I saw someone else tweet it.
Yeah, it's a poster, and it's Oh, I wish I could remember the exact line. I'd have to look it up.
It was like Woody or wouldn't he? And it was spelled Woody, and you see kind of a knockoff of it.
There's a
knockoff of Woody. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, the one it said something about there being a new sheriff in town. The one I saw. So, but I think it was the same image with just different captions.
Probably.
Yeah, with the torn up looking Woody ripoff in the laying in the background with Chucky walking away. Oh man. And I actually saw that and thought it was cool before I realized they came out the same day.
Yeah.
But yeah.
It's kind of cool. Drop your kids off in one, go see the other.
Yeah.
Why would you drop your kids off to see Child's Play?
Okay.
Well, yeah, you know.
Why would you do that?
You've met my kids.
That's just wrong. Well, yeah, when your kids are grown up, you can get away with that, but...
I don't know. This one kind of seems kind of weird to me. I love Chucky. I do. But I don't know how I feel about an AI doll. To me, that's just...
But if you're going to have an AI doll, having Mark Hamill do the voice makes up for it.
Yeah, true. But to me, I mean, this one's kind of more of technology gone amok. And Child's Play was actually a curse that was, so it's kind of a...
It's a reboot.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
It's not the same,
That's what makes it a reboot.
Yeah. Yeah. If y'all want to be technical, But yeah, I think I'm such a fan of the first one that I probably won't enjoy the reboot too much.
And that's fine. You don't have to go watch it.
Nope.
Nobody's making you.
I'll go watch Toy Story 4.
There you go. Make your kids go watch Child's Play. It's fine.
Although I heard this one, I'm sure everybody's seen the first 3. The third one was kind of a, oh my God, because at that point my kids were getting older and leaving and, so it was a different kind of emotional. I don't know how I'm going to feel about the 4th one. To me, it's not, it's the same guys, but it's not Andy.
Andy was barely in any of those movies. What difference does it make?
Yeah, because they were his. That was the whole premise of all 3 of them. They were Andy's. They had his name on their shoe, They were Andy's. And everything they were doing was for Andy. So, I don't know. Like I said, I'll definitely see it because I heard this is the end. So, I thought the 3rd one was the end.
Yeah.
They just want to see me cry again.
Toy Story 4, The Search for More Money.
That's right.
But Tim Allen put out a tweet, and it was kind of a pull at your heart. Because it was a goodbye, it's been fun kind of thing, And he said that when he read the last line of this movie, he could not look Tom Hanks in the eyes. So, we shall see. But I've always been a Tim Allen fan.
Okay, what else catches your eye for June?
Annabelle.
Yeah, keeping in the child's vernacular here, Annabelle Comes Home, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Another creepy doll.
Another fun family film, right?
Sure.
Not so much.
And Yesterday seems kind of cool, too. Guy blacks out and wakes up. He's the only one who knows the Beatles music. You know how much money you would make?
Yeah, it's almost as if Les told us about this movie a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
I didn't realize Danny Boyle directed it, but which is cool.
Yes, I want to see this because the previews were funny.
Was it?
Yeah. And just even the previews you see on IMDb are funny. So it's well worth the time to watch and see this spin, see how things progress. Because even according to the plot, even Ed Sullivan believes that this guy is writing all these songs.
Nice. Well, speaking of funny, we've had a zombie movie coming out in June.
Woohoo!
The Dead Don't Die.
Hmm.
Because Bill Murray hasn't been in enough zombie movies yet.
That's right.
But I actually, and I say that jokingly, but I actually think this might be an interesting one. If for no other reason than, well, just looking at some of the cast, I mean, holy cow.
You got, yeah. I mean, you mentioned Bill Murray, but you got Adam Driver right there next to him. So.
Mm-hmm. And Tilda Swinton's in it.
Yep.
Yep. And the director, Jim Jarmusch, has done some really interesting and honestly some weird stuff along the way in his career too. So could be interesting.
Iggy Pop's in it too.
Who?
Iggy Pop.
Ah.
Carol,
Yeah.
Carol Kane, Tom Waits, Danny Glover. Wow.
Pretty sure at least half of those people are already dead. So.
Well, I'm sure.
No,
yeah,
I'm kidding.
sorry.
I kid. They're all still alive. Jeez. But yeah, some that's an interesting cast to say the least.
Yes.
Apparently, we got a new Shaft movie too.
Yes. I was not familiar that we were getting another Shaft, and this is actually going to be John Shaft the Third, or actually they call it John Shaft Jr., which it's Samuel L. Jackson's boy, who's being played by Jesse T. Usher.
Yep. 3 generations of Shaft.
Mm-hmm. Because, yes, Richard Roundtree is in this one as well.
Mm-hmm.
Now, is that Usher, like...
No.
Usher? Okay.
I don't think so, anyway.
So I didn't know he could act.
All right. Yeah, I don't think so. Yeah.
Yeah, it's another dude.
How about Late Night?
How about what?
How about the movie Late Night?
Could be fun.
About
I think it depends on whether it's funny or serious. I mean, if it's like some sort of deep dark drama, then I'm out. But
it's labeled as a comedy, so
yeah. Well, and Mindy Kaling wrote it, so that's a pretty good sign that it's a comedy. Some more interesting cast there.
Mm-hmm.
Hadn't seen John Lithgow in a while.
He was in the Pet Cemetery, the remake that just came out.
Oh, was he?
Yes. Cool. He's playing I can't remember the character's name, but it was played by, I'm blanking on his name right
now. Fred Gwynn, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that guy.
The neighbor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
So, yep. Any other movies in June catches your eye? I think we named a lot of them.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's go ahead and move on to July. We obviously have Spider-Man Far From Home, which will complete Phase 3 of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Comes out Tuesday, July 2nd.
Yep.
That one kind of looks fun.
Mm-hmm.
Spider-Man Euro Trip.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but we actually get a live-action Mysterio, and the costume actually looks pretty close to the comic. I'm pretty impressed because it is an unusual costume.
Neat. I haven't seen that yet. So
Go ahead.
I was saying, I bet it's on the internet somewhere.
Oh, I'm sure. Complete with the fishbowl helmet.
Ooh.
So, yes.
Was Gyllenhaal thought to be Spider-Man at one time? Is he going to be cast as Spider-Man?
I don't know. It may be a possibility, but I'm not aware of that.
Me either.
But that doesn't mean it's not the case.
That Once Upon a Time in Hollywood looks pretty good too.
Oh,
With
are you normally a Tarantino fan?
hit or miss.
So no. But that's fine. That's cool that you're. I mean, yeah, it tends to be a love-hate thing with him, and that you're willing to give him a try.
Well, it's Leonardo DiCaprio and Brad Pitt, so I don't know if I'm giving Tarantino a try as much as.
Yeah, well.
And it's got Margot Robbie. A Sharon Tate. Woo.
Wow.
Didn't Manson just die?
I want to say it was a couple of years ago, but yeah.
Was it a couple of years ago?
Yeah. I haven't looked it up or anything, but I think it was a couple of years ago.
What was the question again?
When Charles Manson died.
November 19th, 2017.
2017.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
I was distracted then.
Yeah.
But anyway, the Lion King thing comes out too.
Speaking of Disney animated films being turned into live action.
Mm-hmm. Kind of the other one here.
Mm.
Is this the fourth one? Fourth one that's been turned into live action?
Oh, I think there's a lot more than that.
Cinderella, Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin in May, Lion King.
Dumbo just came out.
Dumbo.
I think this is like the third or fourth one this year.
Right.
And Alice. Does that count?
No, because that wasn't Disney.
They did an animated movie though.
Mm-hmm. I was gonna say most memorable was Disney's version.
Well, I'm pretty sure Disney came out and did the live action too, but
they did. Tim Burton. Although they should have stopped at the first one.
Funny how often that happens.
Mm-hmm.
Why didn't they listen to you?
They should have. And that's a Burton fan. Telling him to stop. And you know me, I've got an Alice in Wonderland tattoo. So, yeah. Second one was pretty bad.
Okay.
Oh, and we can't forget the alligator horror movie. First we had Cujo. Then we had Sharknado. Coming in July, we have Crawl.
Okay.
You sound excited.
Yeah. I probably won't see that one. I'm scared of the water anyways, let alone throw a shark or an alligator in it.
I'm kind of tempted on that movie. I want to see what they do.
My guess is they're going to crawl.
Mm.
In his
Touché.
belly. Yeah. Nope.
I'm kind of curious of this documentary, David Crosby, Remember My Name. That might be kind of interesting.
That would be.
And of course, we have Dora and the Lost City of Gold.
Woohoo!
See,
Swiper, no swiping.
My list has that in August.
Okay.
Does that include Alan Quartermain?
Doesn't mention it in the blurb here, no.
Yeah, okay.
Who's playing Boots?
I think he's CGI.
Oh, okay. All right.
I can't say I'm surprised by that, really.
With Benicio del Toro voicing Swiper the Fox. Wow. Okay.
Oh, man.
Wow. That's the easiest paycheck he ever got.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got it listed as Friday, July 31st. But who knows? These things get moved around so often, it's not even funny.
That's what I have, too. I have Wednesday, July 31st.
Okay.
Weird. Oh, well.
Yeah, I mean, no big deal.
It's yeah, I don't care.
Yeah, Wednesday. It could be August 2nd, but the week of August, whatever. Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay. How about us moving on to August?
So August brings us the New Mutants.
Mm-hmm.
And that's probably the last Marvel film from 20th Century Fox. Because everything else has been pretty much put on hold if it hadn't already been in some kind of production.
Right.
The trailer I saw a while back looked interesting because it was kind of a little bit more of a horror approach than a superhero team theme. So I applaud them for doing a little something different, but they kind of did that with Fantastic Four. They went a little bit more sci-fi than superhero, and look what we got. So
Yeah. I'm excited about Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark.
Yeah, I saw that one too.
That was probably the scariest book I read in middle school. Well, no, because I kind of got into Stephen King during that time, too. But one of the scarier stories. When I think most of the urban legends that I remember came from these stories. So now I don't know if they're urban legends or...
When in doubt, it's probably an urban legend.
Yeah. Or the Mandela effect.
Right. Well, and if that's too dark for you and brings you down, you can always jump over to the Fast and Furious spin-off, Hobbs and Shaw. That'll let you turn your IQ down a few notches.
For a start.
Now, I had read that there was problems with, I guess that's Dwayne Johnson and the other guy. Is it Van Diesel, the other main star?
Vin Diesel.
Yeah. I heard there was like a lot of beef between them two.
Yes.
And I'm kind of curious if that's why they went this way instead of another Fast and Furious movie. Or would they do that without Paul Walker? I think they already did that without him, didn't they?
I think they've done one or two without Paul Walker.
I'm not into car movies.
I think I want to say that's how The Rock got involved in the first place, was they needed a replacement for Paul Walker, but
yeah, I can't tell you.
I don't know for sure either. I have not seen a single one of those movies.
I hadn't either.
I think I probably saw the first one, just because I live in a house full of guys.
Angry Birds 2.
Mm-hmm.
If you're into that sort of thing, I guess.
I guess.
Hmm.
And I guess try to catch on to the whole Lego craze. We got a Playmobil movie.
Is that what that is?
Yeah.
Can't say I'm surprised.
So we'll see. I hadn't seen anything about this. So
it's animated.
Yep.
It's got Adam Lambert in it.
does it now.
Mm-hmm. He'll be Emperor Maximus. And Meghan Trainor, isn't she the It's All About the Bass girl?
Yes.
Yeah, that fishing song. All about the bass. The movie for Artemis Fowl is coming out in August.
Oh, yeah.
I'm kind of interested in that. I read the first book, and I was impressed with Ian Colfer's take on this character, so I want to see how they bring it to the screen.
Specifically how Kenneth Branagh brings it to the screen.
Yes.
So there you go.
I think that Aquarella movie would be pretty cool to see on a big screen in 3D.
Yep.
The what now? Oh.
It's like a journey with the power of water.
Okay. Sounds like we may need a potty break for that movie too then.
Right. Totally visual movie.
Nothing wrong with that.
Mm-mm. And you may learn a thing or two. At the movies, go figure.
Crazy talk, that's what it is.
Oh, okay. Angel Has Fallen.
Yeah.
Which is a third in the series of the Has Fallen films.
Yep.
First one being Olympus Has Fallen, and followed by London Has Fallen.
Yep. Gerard Butler.
Okay.
Yep. Another mindless action flick.
Well, I remember Olympus Has Fallen because that came out about the same time another Attack on the White House film came out. I didn't remember there was actually a follow-up with London.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember what the other one that was very similarly premised. It doesn't matter.
No, again, it's a popcorn movie, so it's cool.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with it. I say it's only an action movie, like I have some problem with action movies. I don't.
No,
They're cool.
There are times you want to be challenged, and then there's times you just want, hey, let's have some mindless entertainment.
Right.
Yeah.
Just blow some shit up. Absolutely.
Let's go look at water.
I got a tap in the kitchen. I mean, you know.
Okay. So it's going to be kind of an interesting summer of films, right?
Yeah.
Yep. Some cool stuff.
A lot of them.
Mm-hmm.
As there
Glad I got
always
my
are.
movie pass.
Yeah. Yep.
She just snubbed us, guys.
Huh?
She did.
She just snubbed us.
She's doing that snooty thing she does every so often. Yeah, I got my movie pass and you don't.
You're there.
Y'all have the opportunity.
You can join the cool kids club and get your movie thing.
And your popcorn quicker.
Oh,
Wow.
I might let y'all stand in line with me.
You might let us stand in line for you.
I might. Yeah.
If we've already bought our own ticket, sure.
On that note, we're going to take a quick break and come back with our weekly picks. And we're back, and it's time for our weekly picks. And leading off this week is Les.
I get to lead off. All right. From Image Comics comes issue number 2 of Section 0. I picked this up last month and was pretty astonished by how good the story was. That's what I looked for first. But I was also pleased with the art. This is a comic done by Carl Kessel and Tom Grummett, who are two majors right there. Kessel is known for his work on Harley Quinn, and Grummett is known for Superboy. This is a good storyline. It's a time to get into this. The group goes to the Australian outback, makes a discovery, and they also suffer a huge loss. It's a small group, but this is going to tell the tale of what direction this story goes.
Yeah, I enjoyed the first issue, and yes, Carl Kessel and Tom Grummett, the creators of the Connell Superboy, and I love Grummett's art. It is classic superhero visuals.
Yeah.
So, the first issue was fun. I can't wait to read the second one.
Yep, ditto.
Ditto? Ditto, you provincial putz?
A little Rush Limbaugh here? What?
You use your tongue purtier than a $20 whore.
Moving along.
We don't usually get a lot of Blazing Saddle references, but we got two of them right there. Woohoo! Alrighty, Liz.
All right. For my first pick, I'm keeping with the movie theme, and I'm going with Aladdin. Of course, it's coming to live action, and this is a trade that will a trade that will collect 4 stories that's set before and during the movie. So if you want to brush up on your Aladdin, if it's been a few years, this will definitely be a good one for young and old. I know I'm excited to see the movie, so I'll be picking this up just to see if it's going to pick up where, I guess it would have to start with the genie and the lamp, right? So we shall see.
Cool.
Yeah.
Good choice.
Sure, it's fun stuff.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm kind of excited to see what Will Smith does with the genie. I mean, I know Robin Williams will always be the greatest, but Will Smith is funny too.
Yeah, so's Mark Hamill, but anyway.
Alrighty, well, on that note, Mike, it's your turn.
I'm going to follow myself on that one.
Yeah.
Okay, so my first pick is an Image title, and it is Excellence. This is issue number 1, the new series, obviously. And so for this book, we've got a young guy who has grown up in the secret society of black magicians. But the idea here is that this guy is coming into the society and has some different ideas about how it should be operating, and so there should be some interesting kind of political stuff going on. And so I think this is going to be a lot of fun. This is, I mean, secret societies and wizards and stuff. It's right up my alley anyway, so I'm down for it.
Mm. Cool.
Yeah, this was on my radar, and yeah, this is right down. This is in your wheelhouse.
Yep.
So, alrighty. For my first choice, I am going with a crossover book from Dynamite Comics. Red Sonja and Vampirella meet Betty and Veronica. That should tell you everything right there.
Mm-hmm.
the premise is Red Sonja and Vampirella are coming to Riverdale to investigate a series of murders. And, of course, Betty and Veronica are also investigating as well, since they're reporters for the school newspaper. There you go. It's written by Amy Chu, so I have high hopes for this. I like her writing. So
I liked the crossover they did with Harley and Poison Ivy. That one was done pretty good.
Yeah.
So I think this one will be too.
this one seems to be a little bit more on the, obviously it's going to be on the darker side if you're dealing with murders and that kind of stuff. But yeah, it should be fun.
So I was thinking, investigating a murder for a high school paper.
It's on
High
the
schools have
curriculum.
changed. Yes.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
I get what you're saying, but let's we're going to overlook the fact that Red Sonja's brought the modern day and somehow already has some kind of relationship with Vampirella before all this happens. If you're willing to look over that, that's great.
Yeah.
And will it be Vampire Veronica or?
I kind of didn't think so from reading the description, but
No, I think this is just regular
Betty and Veronica.
Betty and Veronica.
yeah, I'll be honest. The whole everything has me curious as to how this is going to happen.
Yeah.
If for no other reason than because this seems, even for, Dynamite's been doing a lot of interesting stuff with the crossover things. This seems like a stretch. Even as far as they've gone with some stuff, this still seems, but that's part of what makes me curious about it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And what might actually make it really good.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Well, we shall see.
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty, Les, you are up again.
Okay, from Floating World Comics comes a new miniseries. Actually, it's coming back. This is All Time Comics, Zerosis Deathscape, number 0. This is a 5-issue miniseries written by Josh Baer and Josh Simmons, artwork by Bronze Age artist Trevor Von Eden, and you'll find an intro to the new wave of what they call ATC, All Time Comics, and the first appearance of the Red Maniac, who, looking at the cover, looks like a cross between Herbie and the character that Marvel Comics used to have. Was it Irving Forbush?
Yeah, Forbush Man. Yeah.
Tail on his head.
Yeah, Forbush Man. Yep.
Yeah. But this kind of seems interesting to me. Let's roll it out and see what happens.
Okay.
Cool.
Definitely. Alrighty, Liz.
All right. For my second pick, I'm kind of going with a deep one. This is called Waves from Boom Studio. It's a hardcover. This kind of explores the pain, I guess, that a woman can go through when she loses a child. And you kind of have to feel that to get hope at the end of the tunnel. And this is actually based on the author's true experience, so should be a really powerful, moving story, and anyone who's ever suffered that loss, I'm sure, can really identify with this story. Or if you just want to understand what goes on during a time, this would be a really good story. So it's called Waves. Like I said, should be a moving one. Get your tissues.
A deep one, as you said.
Yeah, a deep one.
Waves.
Yeah.
Deep.
Yeah.
You led that off with a pun, but otherwise it sounds like a really nice story.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's a subject that not a lot of people like to talk about, and
It's not a comfortable subject matter, no.
it's not. And I know sometimes when you're going through that loss, that's the one thing sometimes you wish is people would talk. Just talk to me, just, it's, yeah.
Mhm.
So.
Yep. All righty. Mike.
Okie dokie. My second pick is a Dark Horse title, and I am going with Black Hammer, Age of Doom, number 10. We are starting a new arc here, and I mean, if you're familiar with the Black Hammer world at all, you've got a sense of they're still really trying to figure out what in the world's going on. I mean, they had their world rocked like 10 years prior to the whole story starting, and they're still they're still working on figuring it all out and how everything, I mean, what anything means anymore. And so the other cool part is that this issue actually comes with the news that Black Hammer has been optioned for a movie.
Woo-hoo.
So, yeah, that's going to be awesome.
Very nice.
Very nice.
Alrighty, I am next, and for my second pick, I'm going with a collection, and this is called The Woods Yearbook Edition, Volume 1 from Boom Studios. It's written by James Tynion IV, and if you're familiar with his work on Detective Comics, this actually came out before. I think this is what I wouldn't be surprised if this didn't get him the gig on Detective Comics. He may have been doing some other stuff, but this is where I first learned of him.
Yeah.
Was reading this book.
Me too.
And the premise is entire high school is basically vanishes and appears on another planet, including the entire population of the school, administrators, and all that, and it's how they learn to live there while they try to figure out what's going on, how they got there, how they can get back, and all that. And this collects the first 12 issues. Looks really good, and it would be great to pick that up and go back and reread these tales because it's been a while. But I highly recommend this book.
Yep. It's a really good book.
I'll have to look for that myself.
It's worth it. It's totally worth it.
Yep.
And the honorable mention this week is...
Our honorable mention comes from Vertigo. It's Astro City's Aftermaths. This is the collection of Astro City comic numbers 47 through 52, which is the final run of that series. Kurt Busiek, it was the writer on this, and the covers, of course, were Alex Ross, but you had Mike Norton and Brent Anderson as interior art. Astro City, to me, was one of the best runs where everybody in the city was a powerful person, yet each had a problem. Each had a quirk that caused them trouble. And in this 6-issue run, you have things like G-Dog, who's half man and half dog. You have Resistor, who makes headlines across the nation. You've got Astro City itself, which is home to all these people, but I can't say how good this run really was. But this will be the good final collection for you. And I'm going to say final for now, because I've got a feeling that it will resurrect. And it ran for 4 years, something like that, or even better, because It may have been longer. Is that right, Thomas?
I think you're right.
It went from a monthly to almost a bi-monthly title.
Yeah.
But I'm looking forward to this, putting that grouping on my shelf also.
It's good stuff. It's good stuff. And yeah, I agree with you. It's the end for now. Because we've said goodbye to these characters before, and they come back, which is a good thing. Alrighty. Any special shout-outs or mentions this week?
Yeah, I have one. It's kind of a bummer, though.
Yeah, probably the one I'm thinking of, but go ahead.
Could be. So we spend this whole episode talking about movies. Something kind of rough happened in the movie world the last day or two. Writer and director John Singleton passed away, I believe yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
He apparently had a stroke and then just kind of passed away a little bit after that. One of the things that makes it tough is, I mean, he's well known and very well respected in the industry, with a bunch of very very well respected films under his belt. Boys in the Hood, obviously, Higher Learning, and if we want to connect him to our list of movies from today, he directed the 2000 Shaft movie,
Yep.
as well as Too Fast, Too Furious. So 2 movies from series we talked about earlier. The other thing that kind of rattles some of us is, I mean, he was 51 years old.
Yes.
I mean, that is way too early for anything like this. And so, I mean, like I said, very very well respected in the industry. So much love and support for him on social media the last day or two. And so we sort of throw our support out for his family and friends as well.
Yep. Yeah, this was a shame. I remember last week him having talking about him having the stroke, and then it was just like it was like yesterday. I woke up and there was a couple of reports saying he had passed away, and then those actually got retracted. And it was like a couple hours later, there was a report saying that they were going to take him off the life support, and then he passed away a short time after that. So it's like he obviously never recovered from the stroke, and that's sad. And the 51, yes, so young. He gave so much, and there was still a lot more to give. But, and he's inspired so many other filmmakers that his influence will be felt for generations to come.
Long time. Yep.
Yep. So, yeah. Okay. With that, we will move on to our regular shout-outs. First off, we want to thank Pop Goes the Culture for allowing us to be a part of their podcast network. Definitely check out some of our brothers and sisters on this network. We'll have a link in the show notes. Thank you for this opportunity. We do appreciate that. And we also want to thank the fine folks that make up Podern Family on Twitter for supporting us as well. And we highly encourage you to check out some of their fine work. And the easiest way to do that is to go to Twitter and do a search, #PodernFamily, and just scroll through, and whatever shows catch your attention, just click on that link and download that episode and knock yourself out. Thank you guys for your support. I also want to thank Manny the Martyr for supplying music for our podcast. We'll have a link in the show notes for you to check out their fine music. Thank you guys. Appreciate it as always. And last but certainly not least, you, dear listener, thank you for your support. Thank you for downloading and listening to today's episode. It's very much appreciated. We would love to hear from you. Any kind of feedback you have, questions, complaints, suggestions, questions. We're looking for questions. We're wanting to do a question and answer episode in the not too distant future. So if you have a question that you would like us to answer on a future episode, by all means, contact us. We would love to have them. And there are several ways you can do that. Email at thefellowshipofthegeeks.net is our email address. You can do it that way. Or you can go to the website and click on the About Us tab, and there's a contact form that you can fill out. By all means, follow us on our social media. I've already mentioned before that we're on Facebook, The Fellowship of the Geeks. And we're obviously on Twitter, at Fellowship Geeks. And if you like to follow our personal Twitter accounts, by all means, Mike can be found at Mikey Geek. Liz can be found at LN_geek. And I can be found at TomTC Geek. And also a reminder that we are on MeWe now. MEWE. It's a relatively new social media, and not a lot of people are over there right now. But we have been checking it out, and by all means, we encourage you to check it out. And we do have a group page there, and feel free to join that group page. We'll have a link in the show notes for that group. And wherever you download and listen to our episodes, if you could take a couple of moments and rate, review us, it would be greatly appreciated. Did I miss anything?
No, I think that's all of it.
Okay. Any final thoughts before we say goodbye?
Just thanks, everybody.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks for listening.
Thank you once again for listening, guys. We appreciate your support as always. And until next time, geek on, my friends.
We thank you for listening to the show. Comments, suggestions, and questions can be sent to email at thefellowshipofthegeeks.net. You can follow us on Facebook at The Fellowship of the Geeks and on Twitter at Fellowship Geeks. Until next time,